Japan has long been the land of ninjas and fearless samurai. But today, it's home to a new breed of fighters who are far more destructive than their predecessors. In this video, we're diving headfirst into the wildest and most brutal Japanese knockouts you'll ever see. This is Fighting as Art. Let's go. We'll kick things off with Naoya Inoue's WBO junior bantamweight title defense against former champion Kohei Kono in 2016, and it was less of a fight and more like watching a lion play with its food before going in for the kill. From the moment Kono walked into the ring, something felt off.
いかに中に入って打ち合えるかだと思うんですけど、このジャブをなかなかかいくぐって中に入るのは難しいですよ。井上のジャブですね。スピードもあるし、パンチ力もあるんで。さあ右のアッパーも出してきました。一つこのアッパーというのが今回井上尚弥が河野対策として重点的にやってきた部分でもあります。さあそして山中選手、世界戦のまず第1ラウンド、選手としてはどういうところをこれポイントにするものなんですか。
The fire in his eyes was missing. The confidence in his step had faded, and even his body language seemed unsure, like he knew he was walking into something far more dangerous than he'd prepared for. Maybe it was just nerves, or maybe he saw Inoue across the ring warming up and realized that he was up against a different monster. Inoue didn't charge out recklessly. He took his time, like an artist sketching out the outlines before painting a masterpiece in blood. He didn't just beat Kono, he studied him, broke him down, and poked holes in his defense like he was playing Tekken in beginner mode. Credit where it's due. Kono wasn't going down without a fight. Even as the pressure mounted and Inoue's punches started slicing through his guard, Kono kept biting down on his mouthpiece and pushing forward. He threw back when he could, moved his head, circled, jabbed, tried to find angles, anything to slow down the storm. But it was like shadowboxing against a hurricane, one that was only getting faster, sharper, and more violent with every passing second. Inoue was faster, sharper, and meaner, and he somehow managed to look like he wasn't even trying. Through 5 rounds, he racked up points and confidence with surgical ease, cutting angles, landing clean shots, and slipping punches like he was sparring in slow motion. Then came round 6, and Naoya Inoue decided he was done being polite. That's when he flipped the switch and went from technician to Terminator. Inoue uncorked a monstrous left hook that detonated on Kono's jaw, sending him crashing to the canvas like a puppet whose strings got cut. Kono got up, or more accurately, he floated up, blinking like he was trying to remember where he parked his car. Referee Robert Bird gave him one last shot, maybe out of respect, maybe because it was almost New Year's and nobody wanted the party to end. But Inoue had no interest in dancing aimlessly. He followed up with a pair of sledgehammer rights that left Kono horizontal and the ref waving it off. Game over. year over. And for Kono, career over. Naoya Inoue didn't just win, he announced once again that he's not just beating contenders, he's erasing them. If Naoya Inoue is the king of boxing in Japan, Tenshin Nasukawa is the undisputed GOAT of kickboxing, and he's even making sure his name is heard in the MMA circles. The man doesn't fight like a normal human. He fights like a cheat code, wrapped in lightning. And his destruction of Yusaku Nakamura was a live-action anime finale. It started innocently enough, with a sharp left hand that snapped Nakamura's head back like a Pez dispenser. But you can't survive against someone who moves like he's 5 seconds ahead of you. Nakamura kept clinching, holding on for dear life and hoping that maybe he would stop Tenshin with such tactics. But there was no stopping Tenshin, especially not when the crowd was roaring his name like a war drum. Nakamura was stumbling all over the ring, like a man trying to find the exit in a blackout. And getting countered, like he was walking into a buzzsaw with every desperate swing. Then came that move. Tenshin unleashed a modified rolling thunder that looked like something out of a Tekken combo string. Nakamura looked more confused than hurt, but trust me, he was both. Nakamura came swinging in round 2, hoping to turn the tide in his favor, but it was like bringing a water pistol to a wildfire. As the crowd roared, Tenshin poured on the pressure, knowing that he was inches away from another monumental victory. Soon, another flurry had Nakamura stumbling into the ropes like someone who got tricked into roller skates on a downhill slope. No balance and definitely no escape. And just when it seemed like Nakamura might hold on, Tenshin dropped the curtain with a vicious left hook. Lights out. No sequel needed. In under a minute into the second round, Tenshin reminded the world that ninjas still exist. They just wear gloves these days. In 2019, Japanese MMA witnessed a seismic clash between Kyoji Horiguchi and Kai Asakura, a fight billed as a meeting of aces. Horiguchi came in as the superstar, a champion in 2 promotions and a man who hadn't lost in 13 fights. But across from him stood a younger, taller, rangier Kai Asakura who didn't care about resumes. From the opening bell, both men opened up early with no feeling out phase. Horiguchi, perhaps too confident in his explosiveness, bit down on the mouthpiece and lunged in, hoping to overwhelm Asakura. But instead of turning the tide, he charged in recklessly and ran face first into a perfectly timed right hand, which made his legs wobble like a marionette with cut strings. From that point on, Horiguchi was swinging at shadows, pawing at the air like a desperate quarterback, trying to throw a Hail Mary in the final seconds of the Super Bowl. Asakura, however, stayed composed and timed Horiguchi again, with a final clean shot landed right on the button, and Kyoji was out cold. For Asakura, it was a coming out party, But it wouldn't last long, as Horiguchi would enter their immediate rematch a different man altogether. When they met again, the Rizin Bantamweight title was on the line, and Horiguchi wasn't the same reckless fighter who had walked into a nightmare. This time, he came in sharp, focused, and with a plan. From the opening bell, Horiguchi worked smart. Instead of chasing the knockout, he calmly attacked from range, chopping away at Asakura's legs with brutal calf kicks. Each strike slowly drained the bounce from Asakura's movement. As his steps grew heavier, his guard sloppier, and the damage was beginning to show across his face. As the fight wore on, Asakura began to panic, allowing Horiguchi to land clean punches upstairs. Within 2 minutes, Asakura's legs were buckling under the pressure of punishing shots that Horiguchi landed cleanly. In pure desperation, Asakura lunged forward, hoping to land something big. But Horiguchi saw it coming, slipped the attack, and closed the show with a vicious finishing sequence that dropped Asakura hard. 2020, Ren Hiramoto walked into Rizin 26 like he owned the place. A former K1 kickboxing prodigy, he had the swagger of a street boss and the highlight reel to back it up. But confidence in the ring doesn't always translate inside the cage, and that night, he learned it the hard way. But MMA isn't a catwalk, and the cage doesn't care how many head kicks you've landed in a ring. From the opening bell, reality came crashing down, fast and hard. Kyoji ragdolled him from the jump, tossing the flashy striker to the canvas like someone bullying a freshman at recess. Each takedown was a lesson, and each punch on the ground chipped away at that cocky veneer. The kid who came in chest-puffed and chin high was now squirming beneath a man who had zero interest in his highlight reel. By the final bell, Hiramoto's swagger bit the dust, and he found out the hard way that MMA is the great equalizer. The cocky fighter wasn't always the one getting humbled. At Super Rizin 3, Ren Hiramoto flipped the script, and his middle finger on Mikuru Asakura in a fight that shocked the crowd. Right from the start, both men traded sharp kicks, sizing each other up. But it didn't take long for things to escalate. Asakura tried to push the pace, but Hiramoto wasn't having it, and he found the perfect opening with a perfectly timed left hook that dropped him hard. Asakura tried to recover, but the damage was done, and Hiramoto was not going to let the fish off the hook. In 2021, Nakadira Takumi walked into the ring looking like a last-minute replacement. No flashy stance, no big entrance, just a quiet guy standing opposite Sano. Yumi was throwing combinations like he had something to prove, and for the first minute or so, it really looked like Takumi was going to be his human punching bag. But then came the twist as Takumi started spamming one move and low kicks. No setups, no feints, just rinse and repeat. One sharp low kick after another. Within minutes, the damage started showing. Yumi's movement slowed, his stance started falling apart, and every step looked painful. The first knockdown came from a clean sweep of the legs. Takumi didn't need hands. He just kept pressing the same button, and the game started glitching in his favor. Then came the second knockdown. Yumi tried to reset, but his legs had turned to jelly. Another low kick landed, and he dropped like a tree being chopped down. So those were some of the most brutal Japanese fights, and the most savage knockouts we've seen in a while. Which one had you jumping out of your seat? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next round. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.